Hello, everybody, and welcome to a new episode to Tea Time with Timus. So I hope all of you had a fantastic week. It's been quite an interesting October here in Pennsylvania. The colors are starting to change, as you can see. I have fall decorations up, and yeah, it's very nice. Speaking of fall, I managed to watch a movie recently that really captured my heart and soul. And it hasn't done that since I watched How to Train Your Dragon on the big screen. And this was years ago, back in 2018. This movie in particular was made by the same studio, Dreamworks, and we're going to talk about it today. And I think everyone knows what I'm going to talk about, and it's going to be the Wild Robot. So yeah, it's quite an interesting movie, to say the least. It has become one of my favorite movies of all time, one of my favorite animated movies, and I know for a fact, okay, I know for a fact, oh, a mistake there. I know for a fact that they're going to keep making movies. This is going to turn into a series. It might even be a television show. If it gets popular enough. But yeah, so it was such a roller coaster. I'm not going to spoil the movie, by the way, so don't think that I'm going to give a blunder about what happens to the characters, whatever. I'm going to keep it as vague as possible, but giving you an idea of what the story is and what the characters are. So yeah, so we'll talk about that. It's based... Oh, okay, that just happened. But anyway, it's based on the book by Peter Brown. And I have personally not read the book, but I would probably recommend it to people, I guess. Because I'm going to start reading it. And it would probably give me a better idea of, the source material. So, yeah, it's... It seems like a pretty interesting book. I did read tidbits of it online, and it seems it's not entirely like the movie. Okay, so if you're going in there it's gonna be it's gonna have certain characters, is probably not. And it's slightly different. So yeah, but of course, with any media, the book's going to be different than the movie in some aspects. So, yeah, that's something to watch out for. But in any case, it follows the story of a robot who crash lands on an uncharted island named Roz, or Rosm 7134. She is voiced by the lady, I always forget to pronounce her name, but she was in the movie Us, and it's one of my favorite horror movies. And she was recently in, I think it was A Quiet Place Day One, I think it was. Really great actress. I love her. She's one of my favorites. She voices the robot in this movie, and she is such a treat. I mean, she voices the character with so much heart and soul. For a character that's supposed to be a machine, right? And she puts so much emotion into it. And what I love about Ross, and if you watch the movie, you'll know what I mean, she has pretty much almost zero facial expression. And a lot of her emotion comes from the voice. And you'll see what I mean when you watch the movie. It's a tearjerker. So anyway, she finds this young gosling who she adopts. So she's basically a stepmother. And funny enough, for those of you who are familiar with stepmother in animated movies, they're evil. They're very evil. They're very much evil. But not this character. She's one of the few stepmothers in animation who's actually a good mother. It would have been a twist, but of course, you watch the trailers and you watch that and you're like, oh, there's no way she's going to be bad. So I'm just telling you, because you're going to go into the movie thinking that she's bad. She's not bad. She's literally the main character in an animated movie in DreamWorks. In any case, yeah. So yeah, she's with this this gosling. learns how to raise him, whatever. Yeah. Now, I want you to pay attention because this is important. I want you to guess who my absolute favorite character in this movie is. I just want you to guess. Out of all the colorful animals and characters that are in this movie, can you guess? Can you guess which one is my absolute favorite? If you guessed Bright Bill, you are absolutely wrong, but he is a close second. It's actually this guy right here, Fink the Fox. Yes, that's right. This is my favorite character in the movie. He absolutely steals the show. Everything about Fink, he reminded me a lot of Nick Wilde, but he was like a more grounded Nick Wilde in many ways. And I went into the movie loving every aspect of Fink. I was like, there's not a scene in that movie that I did not like him in. And he actually has a very deep character. I actually cried at one point because I was like, oh my god, this kind of like is really sad for a character you're supposed to not really like think they're deep. Because you heard them before in every other movie with foxes, I guess. But yeah, he's voiced by Pedro Pascal, who's the Mandalorian, and this is his first animated feature. So yeah, his first role in an animated film, and it's a furry and a fox of all things. So this kind of makes me want to dress up as a Mandalorian to a convention. That would be splendid. But anyway, yeah. So that's Fink, and he's such a treat. So this is an artwork. The artwork is down at the artist name is at the bottom right. So if you want to look at the artwork, but what I enjoy about this movie is the fan base that it is developing slowly but surely, and I think a lot of people are starting to really latch on to this movie. It had a very slow reception, I feel. It beat box office, okay? It's already in profit. But the thing is that I feel like a fandom for the movie wasn't really gaining traction until recently. I'm not sure why, but it's probably because it's fall, and people like are starting to associate the movie with fall, and a lot of word of mouth goes between the movie. It's already out on digital, which is pretty insane. It hasn't even been 6 weeks since this movie came out, so yeah, pretty insane. Yeah, what else do we have? It's a very grounded story. Okay, this movie is not like your typical animated feature film. So here's the thing. Okay, and I'm gonna say this. It reminded me a lot of Zootopia. I went into Zootopia back in 2016 thinking that it was just going to be a generic buddy cop film that wasn't really going to leave that much of an impact. I thought it was going to be good, don't get me wrong, okay? But I didn't think Zootopia was going to have underlying themes that was so relatable about racism and social class and all this that it actually made me think, wow, a Disney movie like this is actually like going in layers and explaining like, it's basically Crash, the movie, if you ever seen it, but furries. But in any case, so The Wild Robot is very similar. You go into the movie thinking that, oh, it's going to be cutesy, it's going to be sad. You know it's going to be sad if you watch the trailers. But you don't realize just like how real it feels. You go watching that movie and you're like, wow, this is exactly how it would be like if you were an animal in a forest. Like, it's just so real. And it left me there scene thinking like, why did we get there? Like, you kind of sort of disassociate from humanity and you sort of look into like what's out there, right, in the forest, and it's pretty wild. No pun intended, or maybe pun intended. These tabs, I am getting so sick of them. But in any case, as you probably guessed, I am such a fan of this movie that I did write fan fiction for it. that's just what you do when you're a fan of something and it's your hyperfixation. If you want to read my interpretation of the movie, or not really interpretation, but just fan fiction in general, you can check it out on my fanfiction page, Sean Mountain, The Wild Robot, The Boy, The Fox in the Wild. I am currently still writing it. I upload pretty regularly, and it is also available on Wattpad. So if you want to read it there, you most certainly can. Yeah, so it's a great movie, and I really recommend that you guys check it out. That everybody who's watching gives it a go. I mean, there's a lot of great things about the movie. It is so adult, but it's also so adorable, and the message is trying to come across. You just can't help but love it. And I think it's one of DreamWorks' greatest movies as of late. And yeah, it's gonna be a beautiful series, I can already tell. And yeah, it's absolutely amazing. So, but in any case, it's a very short video. I just wanted to give a sort of review on the movie. So we're gonna leave it at that, and I hope you all enjoy the rest of October. Lord knows I will. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be a great end of the year. You ever get that feeling where it's just like you have a great finish to the year, and I feel like we're gonna have a great finish to the year. So, in any case, everyone, I hope you have a great day, and yeah, take care. Bye, everyone. See you later.